All right, guys, I've got a final editorial for you today. This one's going to finish off the day, and then, of course, I guess I'll give you the other ones tomorrow. There are tomorrow and Friday. But this is going to finish off the editorials for today. It's out of Massachusetts, and this is an interesting one. When I read this, I was like, wow. I had to read it twice just to go, wow, twice. So I'm going to give you this story. The link to it is in the description box below, and I want to see what you guys think about it because I'm going to give most of it to you right here. Thank you to Vox.com. That's Vox.com. The Massachusetts State Police has allowed dozens of officers to remain on active duty after internal investigations found they had broken the law, a Boston Globe investigations uncovered. The Globe's Matt Rochello reviewed the Massachusetts State Police Department's internal affairs files and discovered that the force's internal investigators had found 29 sustained charges for assault and battery, 19 alcohol and drug violations, including 4 operating under the influence, 17 charges for harassment, including 3 for sexual harassment, and another 17 for improperly using the state's criminal background check system against active troopers. Despite those alleged criminal actions and other alleged policy violations like lying to internal investigators or judges and using excessive force, Rochello found that the agency rarely fires troopers almost no matter what they have done, and only a handful of the potentially criminal transgressions had been referred to prosecutors. In fact, the Massachusetts Attorney General's spokesperson told the Globe that the state police had shared none of those details with the office. The investigation reveals a growing consensus across the country that police officers aren't facing appropriate consequences for intolerable behavior. Yeah, it's called the thin blue line. From shoulder to shoulder we stand. You're not going to get fired, my man. One officer, Trooper Paul Higgins, has committed dozens of crimes, according to the Globe's review of the police's internal investigations. In 2013, he was told he could be fired for his penchant for hanging out with and helping criminals, which had been known to state police leaders for years. The conversation apparently had no effect, as Globe reporting reveals. Despite that confrontation and warning, Higgins allegedly carried on. 2 years later, the department received a letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office saying Higgins was the focus of a federal criminal investigation and had admitted to Drug Enforcement Administration agents that he ran background checks on behalf of drug-dealing bookies. In at least one case, records show, Higgins provided the background check information to let a criminal know that the police had run his license plate. State police then placed him on paid leave. The pattern is not unique to Boston. The Mercury News reported that more than 80 law enforcement officers working today in California are convicted criminals with rap sheets that include everything from animal cruelty to manslaughter. The Baltimore Sun reported on a case where a police officer was caught by his own body camera placing drugs in a vacant lot and then acting as if he had just discovered them. He's still on the force. The Minnesota Star-Tribune reported that hundreds of police officers convicted of criminal offenses in the past 2 decades kept their state law enforcement license. Rochello's reporting doesn't zero in on the root causes of the culture of permissiveness beyond deep flaws and ineffectiveness in the internal affairs investigation process. But Massachusetts police unions have loudly opposed proposed accountability measures. Police unions have a well-documented role in shielding their members from repercussions and making it very difficult to fire members. Vox's Dylan Matthews has gone over the intense appeals process by which police officers are able to fend off accountability. That, combined with rules like giving police officers a heads up that they will be interviewed by internal affairs detectives or other investigators about a case of potential wrongdoing, work to make it hard for even determined police departments to levy punishments on lawbreakers. Matthews reported on research suggesting unions are increasing violent misconduct. University of Chicago Law School's Damika Dharmapala, Richard McAdams, and John Rappaport looked at a 2003 Florida Supreme Court decision that gave collective bargaining rights to sheriff's deputies. They used police departments which were unaffected as a control group and find that in the wake of the decision, misconduct violations rose in sheriff's offices, but not in police departments. That suggests that collective bargaining itself caused a rise in misconduct, perhaps by making sheriff's deputies feel like they could get away with it. Well, they could. The union says, oh, you know what? Here's what we'll do. Give him a 2-week suspension, and he's back on the force and committing crimes again. Police unions, under the duty of fair representation covered by the National Labor Relations Act and state laws, are legally required to give the best possible protections, including legal aid and support in job negotiations to all of their members, German Lopez has reported. That means police officers know they have strong legal representation waiting for them, no matter what situation they get into, which some critics say has helped build a culture in which police feel they can get away with nearly anything. In Massachusetts, officers appear to have reason to feel that way. Yeah, because they're not going to get fired. A lot of cops are out there breaking the laws. As you saw, cops are on the force with rap sheets, and they're cops. And they have rap sheets. But because they're already cops or veteran cops, they don't get fired. Why do you think you have in Los Angeles the banditos? Who are the other ones? That's the only one I really know of right now is the banditos. I know there's like 5 of them or 4 of them. That's the only name I can remember. What is another one's what? The killers or something like that. And the sheriff isn't fired yet. Why isn't Villanueva fired? Now, Sheriff Villanueva, we give him a hard time. We do. He needs to be fired. Because of the gangs, he needs to be fired. I mean, they fired Daryl Gates out of Los Angeles. Daryl Gates lost his job over the Rodney King thing. So they need to fire Villanueva. What do you guys think? This is interesting. So I wanted to give this to you, let you comment on it in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel, guys. Community Leo Watch, watching Leos. That's law enforcement officers, man, from coast to coast, from Massachusetts to Baltimore to California and all the way across to Florida here on this hump day.